In the village of Enugu, located in eastern Nigeria, there lived a cheerful, pregnant woman named Amara. She was quite content with her life, enjoying the sunny days that were common in her village. One particularly bright day, Amara realized she needed some help at home. She called out for her husband, "Chidi! Chidi! Are you there?" but received no reply. She looked around their small house and even checked the backyard, but found no sign of him. Frustrated but recognizing the need to manage things herself, especially during her pregnancy, she decided she needed to fetch some water since none was left at home. With a deep sigh, Amara made her way to the local stream. The walk was usually pleasant, but being pregnant made it quite challenging. When she arrived, she noticed an elderly woman sitting by the stream, her face etched with lines of hardship. The old woman saw Amara approaching and saw a chance to ask for help. With a hopeful expression, she approached Amara and said, "Excuse me, dear. I'm in a bit of trouble and need some money. Could you spare a little? It would mean a lot to me." Amara, already tired and a bit on edge from not finding her husband, responded more sharply than she intended. "I can't help you. Please don't bother me with this right now. That's how you people do. You disturb people while working to bed for money when you can just go work for your own money," she said with anger. The old woman's face dropped, hurt flashing across her eyes. "I'm sorry to have troubled you," she muttered, her voice tinged with sadness. Amara filled her water container, her mood darkened by the encounter. She couldn't shake off a feeling of guilt as she walked back home, leaving the old woman behind, still sitting quietly by the stream. Her grandson was sick and needed some money. The insult got to her so much that she made a prayer in silence. Amara returned to her home feeling very angry because she couldn't find her husband when she needed his help. The house seemed too quiet and her mood was heavy as she thought about having to fetch water by herself while pregnant. A few weeks later, Amara's life took a joyful turn when she gave birth to twins. The arrival of these two babies filled her home with laughter and happiness. As the twins grew, they developed a very close bond with each other. They were always together, from the moment they woke up in the morning to the time they went to bed at night. As Taiwo and Kenny grew up, their bond became even stronger. They cared so much for each other that they made a special rule. Before either of them could date someone seriously, the other twin had to meet and approve of the new person. This rule meant a lot to them because they always looked out for each other's happiness. However, this arrangement sometimes made dating difficult. Whenever Kenny met someone new, she would tell Taiwo, "I really like this person, but you have to meet them and tell me what you think." Taiwo would then meet Kenny's new friend, and sometimes he would feel unsure. He would say, "I'm not sure they're right for you," and Kenny would take his opinion seriously. The same went for Taiwo. When he started seeing someone, he would arrange a meeting with Kenny. "I hope you like her," he would say nervously. After the meeting, if Kenny felt that the person wasn't a good match for Taiwo, she would gently tell him, "I think you deserve someone who understands you better." Taiwo usually agreed because he trusted Kenny's judgment. This process often made it hard for them to maintain relationships. Potential partners found it challenging to understand why their approval depended so much on the twins' opinion. Some felt that the twins were too involved in each other's lives, which led to relationships ending before they really began. Despite these challenges, Taiwo and Kenny were happy with their arrangement. They believed that anyone who truly wanted to be with them would understand how important their twin was in their life. They promised to always respect and consider each other's feelings, knowing that their bond was unique and incredibly special. Taiwo and Kenny were so close that their parents began to worry that they were becoming too dependent on each other. To help them become more independent, their parents tried to give them different tasks and responsibilities. Taiwo was asked to help in the market, while Kenny was given tasks around the house. However, despite these efforts, Taiwo and Kenny still spent all their free time together and didn't make new friends. Seeing that their plan wasn't working, their parents made a tough decision. They decided to send Taiwo to live with their uncle in a neighboring village for a while. They hoped this would help both Taiwo and Kenny learn to be independent and make new friends. When Taiwo and Kenny heard about the plan, they were very upset. "How will I manage without you?" Kenny asked, trying to hold back tears. Taiwo felt the same, but tried to be strong. "We'll see each other soon. "It's just for a little while," he reassured her, though he felt sad too. After Taiwo moved to the new village, it was hard for both of them at first. They missed each other terribly, but they gradually adapted to their new routines. Taiwo started working with his uncle, who owned a small carpentry shop. He learned quickly and worked hard. His uncle was very impressed with Taiwo's dedication and grew to love him like a son. Taiwo took his job seriously and soon became skilled at carpentry. He made beautiful furniture that many people in the village admired. Even though he missed Kenny, he was proud of what he was achieving on his own. Meanwhile, Kenny also started to make friends and find her own interests back home. Their parents saw that they were both growing into strong and confident individuals, which made them feel reassured about their decision. In the new village, Taiwo met a woman named Yetunde. They quickly grew fond of each other and fell in love. Yetunde was kind and understanding, and she appreciated Taiwo's hard work and gentle nature. As they spent more time together, their relationship deepened. Meanwhile, back in her home village, Kenny started to feel lonely and sad. She missed Taiwo more than she had expected and found it hard to be happy without him. She felt bitter inside and longed to see him every day. When suitors came to ask for her hand in marriage, she turned them all away, unable to imagine being with anyone else but her twin brother around. A few months later, Taiwo and Kenny's parents passed away under mysterious circumstances. This tragic event left Kenny with no choice but to move and live with Taiwo and their uncle in the new village. She packed her things, feeling a mix of sadness for the loss of her parents and a reluctant hope that being with Taiwo might ease her pain. When Kenny arrived at the new village, Taiwo was there to welcome her. Seeing him brought a mix of comfort and sadness. Yetunde, understanding the difficult time Kenny was going through, tried her best to make Kenny feel at home. Kenny and Taiwo tried to return to their old ways of doing everything together, just like they used to in their parents' village. However, Kenny soon realized that things were different now. Taiwo was spending a lot of his time with his girlfriend, Yetunde, which made Kenny feel left out and unhappy. Feeling a bit lonely and wanting to be closer to Taiwo, Kenny came up with a plan. She decided to become friends with Yetunde. Kenny approached this carefully, finding reasons to talk to Yetunde and spending time with her. She helped Yetunde with shopping and sometimes joined them when they went out. Slowly, Kenny and Yetunde became good friends. Kenny and Yetunde went out together to fetch water from the stream. During their walk, Kenny suggested they try a different path than usual, saying it was a shortcut. However, this new route was not as safe. As they walked, Yetunde accidentally stepped into a hidden trap and fell, badly injuring her leg. Kenny acted quickly and ran back to the village to get help for Yetunde. But instead of hurrying, Kenny deliberately took longer to return. It took her 5 hours to get back to the village because she hoped that Yetunde's situation would become more serious, making her need more help and possibly making her depend less on Taiwo. When Kenny finally brought help from the village, they reached Yetunde a few minutes later. Yetunde was in a lot of pain by then. The villagers carefully helped her and carried her back to the village. The day after the accident, Yetunde was very upset with Kenny. She believed that Kenny had tricked her into taking the dangerous route on purpose and had deliberately taken a long time to get help. Yetunde confronted Kenny, saying, "You knew that path was unsafe. Why did it take you so long to bring help?" Kenny tried to defend herself, but her explanation sounded weak. Yetunde was not convinced and became even more frustrated. Yetunde also tried to explain her suspicions to others in the village, including Taiwo, her boyfriend. She told Taiwo, "I think Kenny did it on purpose. She took hours to get help. It doesn't make sense." However, no one believed her. They thought it was just an unfortunate accident and that Yetunde was overreacting because of the pain and stress. Taiwo said to her, "Kenny wouldn't do that. It was just an accident. You have to believe us." Feeling hurt and unsupported, Yetunde decided to break up with Taiwo. She said, "If you can't see what's happening, I can't be with you." This breakup left Taiwo confused and sad, but it also meant that Kenny's plan had worked. She had managed to create a rift between Yetunde and Taiwo. After Yetunde broke up with Taiwo, he was feeling very down. Kenny saw this as an opportunity to get closer to him. One day, she tried to cheer him up in a way that was more affectionate than usual. While they were talking, she said softly, "You deserve to be happy, Taiwo. Don't let this keep you down." As they shared this moment, they ended up kissing by mistake. This unexpected kiss led to them becoming closer and eventually starting a romantic relationship. They decided to keep their relationship a secret at first because they were worried about what people might think. For many months, Kenny and Taiwo met secretly. They would sneak away to quiet spots like the forest where they thought no one would see them. One day, while they were sitting under a tree in the forest, someone from the village spotted them. The news of their relationship spread quickly through the village. At first, Kenny and Taiwo were worried about the rumors, but then they realized that they no longer wanted to hide their feelings. Seeing that people already knew about them, they felt more confident. Taiwo said to Kenny, "Maybe it's time we stopped hiding. What do you think?" Kenny agreed. "Yes, let's not hide anymore. Let's be open about us." Encouraged by each other, they decided to make their relationship public. This made them feel freer and happier to be together openly. When their uncle found out about Taiwo and Kenny's relationship, he was very upset. He felt that they had brought shame to his family, so he told them they could no longer stay with him. He said, "You have disgraced me. You need to leave my house." With nowhere else to go, Taiwo used the money he had saved from his carpentry work to rent a small hut for them to live in. Taiwo and Kenny moved into the hut and started their new life together. They were happy just to be with each other, despite the tough circumstances. After living together for 5 months, Kenny found out she was pregnant. Both of them were overjoyed at the news. They were excited about starting their own family. Meanwhile, the villagers were shocked and surprised by everything that had happened. They couldn't believe that Taiwo and Kenny were living together and now expecting a child. Despite the villagers' reactions, Taiwo and Kenny focused on their happiness and prepared for their new arrival. 2 months later, Kenny had a miscarriage, which was a very sad event for both her and Taiwo. Unfortunately, this pattern continued for the next 4 pregnancies she had. Each time they hoped for a better outcome, but each ended in miscarriage. This series of losses made Taiwo and Kenny very sad. To make matters worse, some of the villagers mocked them every day, making hurtful comments about their situation. This constant mockery added to their distress. One day, an elderly man from the village approached Taiwo and Kenny. He gathered them to talk about something important. He said, "There is something you need to know about why these sad things are happening to you." The old man explained that they had been cursed because of something their mother had done while she was pregnant with them. Hearing this, Taiwo and Kenny were shocked and saddened even more. They hadn't known about their mother's actions and now struggled to understand how it could affect their lives so deeply. The elderly man told Taiwo and Kenny a story about their mother. He said that many years ago, their mother had refused to help an elderly person who needed assistance. Because of this, the elderly person had cursed her. This curse, he explained, was the reason for the troubles that Kenny was experiencing. Taiwo, puzzled and concerned, asked, "What do you mean, how Kenny is? What about her?" This prompted Kenny to open up about everything she had done. She admitted to Taiwo and the old man that she had killed her parent just so that she can join Taiwo in their uncle's village, and how she intentionally set trap for Yetunde so that she could separate them both. She confessed all the things she thought were just minor wrongdoings, but now realized could have hurt others. Kenny said tearfully, "I didn't see how my actions could be so harmful. I thought I was just taking care of us." Taiwo, equally upset, responded, "I had no idea you did those triple things." "Ha, Kenny," both of them cried together, feeling the weight of their past actions and the realization that what they thought were small protective actions were actually harmful. Taiwo and Kenny decided it was time for a big change. They chose to leave their village and go their separate ways, hoping to start fresh on their own. After they left, no one in the village heard from them again. Each of them was looking for a new beginning, somewhere they could make new memories and possibly find happiness without the burdens of their past.